Hello, good morning, good midnight, good afternoon, Mr. David. It's nice to have you on our channel, Tech Bites. And this is actually, we are starting a new series on our channel to focus on Africans building in Africa, startups. We want to see the challenges that are being faced. We want to learn from the people that are actually, building, in the environment in Africa. And this can be um, a good resource for other people who want to follow in the steps to avoid the potholes, the pitfalls, the failures, and to learn from, the journey basically. Um, so you you are going to be the first to come on this particular episode. We want to call it on the spot, with then David of Zeeh Africa.
Oh,
So it's nice to have you on our call. Thank you so much. I know that you're a very busy man, and attempted to we've attempted to get this going for some time now, but
all right.
hopefully or thankfully we now have the opportunity. Um, so thank you so much for joining
Uh,
us.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's a privilege to be actually, and I'm really excited to be here. So, yeah, so it's been a long journey, right? Just like you said, the challenges, the hurdle, the good, the bad, the win. So, I think I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to going into it, and let's see how much we can uncover today. I mean, perhaps on the limited time that we have. So let's see what we can uncover. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll just start right away. I mean, but the way I want us to start, usually, um, a lot of people look at companies that are being built, but I would like to start by looking at the people behind the company, because the company does not build itself. There are people behind it, and if we get to know the kind of people that are behind it, we can get to know why or how the company is actually successful, because it's people that build successful companies. So can you tell us your journey from however wherever you want to start up until this point? What has contributed to David, what has made David that he has done. He's now into building startups and a lot of things. Your journey through the startup world, entrepreneurship, how it has, helped you, all we want as much as you can tell us about yourself that has brought you to this point.
So there's a lot about me, but then in all honesty, actually, there's a lot about my starting points because there are different defining moments for me. So I keep unveiling different parts at different speaking engagements. So I think one new one that I'm going to unveil here that I don't think I've ever spoken about it before is then I will talk about that one that I've done before. Um, I think if I'm to date my entrepreneurship background, okay, apart from let's leave before we got into the university. Let me just start from university days here. So I got to University of Ibadan, studied I came in to study geology, and I think I moved to civil engineering. Why? Because engineering just seemed like a cool thing, like, oh yeah, I take it, a engineering student sounded cool. So I'm like, okay. So I moved from geology to civil engineering. But that's academic side. So the entrepreneur side was, I think, at the 200, was it 200 level? Yes. So when I was done with 100 level, I moved to 200 level. It's a very interesting story, right? I was selling lab coats. How did I arrive at the lab coat? So all of when we're in 100 level, our lecture starts by 8 o'clock at the popular hall, which is CBN hall then, right? Then there are some people that would stand at the entrance of the door. They'll be there as early as 7:30 to like 8 to start selling lab coats because every 100 level student, there's some mandatory course you have to take that once you're taking that course, you need to like put on lab coats because it's some lab practical courses and it's a mandatory course, right? especially for we science students there. So I don't know where I think it was myself and my mom and my elder brother then, right? So I went to shipping lab coats. My mom could sew, she sewed, carried everything from Lagos, bring it to Ibadan. So while my mates are waking up on their normal time and going to classes, right? I'll go to CBN as early as 7:30 ish. I'll carry lab coats and I'll be selling to the new freshers that just came in. Hey, buy lab coats. I now made mine I think 15 naira cheaper than what every other person was selling their own. So with that, I was able to, I mean, sell mine faster. Then I started having issues with the fact that I couldn't meet up with time with classes and the like. So um, what I had to do was I took an A4 paper because I couldn't print then I
Mm,
wrote buy your lab coats with and now I still removed the 15 naira. I added the 15 naira discount on it. And I put my phone number there. And I put a time where they should meet me at Kuti Hall. So that was where I stayed on Sunday evening or certain time in the evening. Then I now did a lot of copies of that. Then I went to each individual hostels. Then I was pasting it in their notice board, pasting it everywhere, paste it in departments, did that all along, right? Every evening, like the number of calls I get, you see people line up. They want to buy laptop, want to buy laptop, want to buy laptop. Till I sold everything, all my merchandise, I sold it out. Got extra from more people, sold it out again. Then the era of lab coat parts, because I mean, once everybody has bought lab coat, once they started practical,
mm,
it's there to buy it again. Then what's the next thing they needed during lab practical? They need glove, goggles, this, that. Ventured into that again. So it was I think that was still the first business I did as soon as I got into UI because that was still the very early stage of mine. Then the journey is interesting. Tried multi-level marketing. I've not said it before. I'm not going into that details, right? Myself and myself and a very good, very, very good friend. Even up to now, still good friend. I won't mention his name. All this bring to people. Oh, good lord.
mm.
It's a very interesting journey. Like, so the only thing I was able to like, what that has taught me, because now I can build a product and ship it out very fast. And whenever I'm talking to, I mentor some startup, and I'll be talking to them. I'll be like, "Can't you do this? Like, do this, do this. Like, it's so obvious. Do it this way. Don't waste time doing this." So it was just recently I now sat back and I'm like, nah, I'm the one that is feeling it's an obvious thing that people can do, but
Mm,
it's not just obvious. It's because I've been through different case studies in my life, like where I've been able to start different things. When it reached the peak of it, like I couldn't push it, I left it, start something else again. So I've been able to learn by experience over time. So this has like shaping some ad experience into me. Like
mm,
I have to start a business. I know what are the major things you need to focus on, what you're supposed to not focus on, when you have to pivot, especially when it's not working, right? So it's been a roller coaster and a long journey. So I'll just put it there. So that's like one very practical example of what shaped my entrepreneurial journey over time down to now that we're building this Africa, even Zify as we speak right now. So yeah, I think I've taken more than my allocated time.
no, that's fine. It's good. I mean, this is I've picked up quite a number of things. Just like I said, people just see when they see the and the other things you're building now, they don't see what has brought you up onto this point. And it's good for people to know that there's always a journey to it,
Yeah,
and there's always a journey that will help to build people. So I see identify someone that identifies opportunities, takes
yeah.
steps towards it, and I'm seeing selling,
Eh?
you know, you must be able to sell no matter everybody's selling something. So I can see that as well, and partnerships too,
Yeah.
from what you have said,
And to
you know.
add to that, you must be able to like roll up your sleeves and get the job done. Because I mean, I remember some of my classmates, they will see me selling and they were saying it in the class, like, David said, some people were feeling like it's something to be ashamed of. I'm like, I don't
Mm,
understand. Are you feeding me? Are you paying my bills? I'm doing it.
mm,
I'm happy. What's your own? So the fact that you could like get down to get the job done and your goal, like once you set the goal, I had the
mm,
target that I want to sell 100 pieces of this thing and I must clear it off. So
mm.
other thing was just noise. So I just focused on the main thing, the main goal, and I just went down with it. So yeah, that's another added thing I learned during that period.
Right. Now, drilling down to Z Africa. What what was there anything you did that was closely related to um Z Africa before Z Africa? So
Question.
yeah,
I get
do you understand? Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
so something actually led to the birth of Z Africa. So it's also an interesting story. I have a lot of stories to share. Um, I was running, I'm still running, funny enough, that link is still up and running, very good, cash flow positive, right? Um, so but then it's a micro lending and micro savings platform, right? And the interesting part of it is I was a beneficiary of Lagos State Scholarship. I think that they gave us like 200K came into the account. There was nothing I wanted to do with it. So I used it to Bodija Market. I
Went
don't know
to
if you know Bodija Market. We went to
20,000.
give 20,000, 10 market women then, and told them to be paying us back every week with interest. So the interesting fact was I built that 200K, I built it to 1.4 million in the space of less than a year or so, right? I can't remember how precise it was. I was able to build that because I never took anything out from it. I was just reinvesting the money in it. Um, so that was basically what led to the birth of the first company, Daxlink. So literally, it was a finance company. Then we started taking external funds, started adding more loan portfolio to our books. So, but then remember, I have the engineering background. Now I'm in finance, so I need to like learn a lot. That's one thing I don't joke with. I do a lot of research. So I started taking online courses, did some certification exams to like build myself financial wise, like in the financial tech space, right? So I was able to like grow very well on it. Then we built Dax Links to be big at some points as far back as 2020, 2021-ish. We were managing it looks small now, but then we're managing $1.5 million asset under management then, right?
Mm,
We had partnerships with banks, like top banks, and the interesting fact was I was very young.
mm,
And at times I had to like just hide my identity so they would be like, oh, they're giving this small boy this huge sum
mm,
of money. It's an interesting journey. So back to the question, right? We're running Dax Links. Then our loan book grew massively. We had roughly 6 branches, physical branches across Lagos and Ibadan, right?
mm,
Uh, then one of the major challenge we faced was people that were coming to take loan from us, they have bad credit history from other places. Then we tried integrating with the credit bureau, tried integrating with different platform, just try to like see how we could leverage tech to reduce our because our non-performing loan ratio was going up, and it's very, very bad for business, especially when you're in the credit space. So we needed to like leverage tech because then that was even just the real boom of tech. People have started tech, but then it was not that was not when it was during the bust period. So I was like, okay. So I was sad with the decision of do I want to pivot Daxlinks into a full tech company? Then I was like, nah, that won't make much sense. So why don't I just build an infra, right, that would solve this problem for Daxlinks, one, and not just Daxlinks, it can solve the same problem for every other person in the lending space, any other person that wants to come into the lending space, right? And lo and behold, that's how we formed Z Africa. So we formed Z Africa as a open, so it's operating under the open banking framework in a bid to harness data from every and any source. So be it identity data, which we're using for KYC as we speak now, or transaction data from your account statements, from your transaction history, from all the banks to credit bureau data, to what else? Any form of data, right? Even down to telco data. So in a bit to just have a good understanding of who this person is and to be able
mm,
to like, profile the person in oh this person can take so amount and can pay back this amount at so duration. So that was basically what led to the birth of Z Africa. So our goal is still simple, right? There is $360 billion credit gap in Africa as we speak right now. And one of the major contributing factors to that is there is no uniform data. Um, Even the banks that are giving loans out, it's quite an hassle for them in the sense
Mm,
that you can't even do cross lending. You still have to tell your customer to first open an account with you, run the account for at least 6 months. And we
mm,
have about 20 banks. So let's say you want to take facility from 20 banks. Do you have to now open 20 accounts and run it 6 months individual from everybody? That's because there is no proper infrastructure to like facilitate data sharing across.
yes,
So
mm.
those are part of the things that led to the birth of Zee Africa. It was a very massive opportunity, and now we're still fighting it because it looks good. It looks fine. I mean, I think this is something that we can talk later. When you see problem and you're like, oh, see the opportunity, and you're asking, and you just want to jump into the problem. And
Mm.
you should ask, why is nobody even doing it in the first
In
place?
solving it, trying to solve it. Mm.
So that was the scenario. So I went die head, all head in, and wow. Then we started meeting powers that be. It's that is another conversation in its own. That's part of the legislative phase. But then I was able to like solve it and made headway. So yeah, that's basically what led to the birth of the Africa and what our goals are.
Awesome, awesome. I think what you mentioned actually is leading to the next thing that I wanted us to discuss: the
Okay.
challenges you're faced or currently facing, running Z Africa at the moment.
Okay. So I already hinted a bit on it. So first thing was the regulatory body, because
Mm,
first of all, we're talking about data. And
mm,
whether we like it or not, a larger percent of those data, especially when it comes to the financial space, right, sits with the traditional banks, major
mm,
banks, right? And you'd be surprised to know that most of these traditional bank, well, they've upgraded already right now, but back then, the infrastructure was poor. They don't even have a well structured data format, and they were even anti open banking. They just come in the office and say they are open banking friendly, open this, everything is just paparazzi. In the real sense of it, I can say this, and
mm,
they were very very anti open banking, to the extent that myself and some other competitors, we had to invent a system which is called reverse engineering, that we had to like reverse engineer some of the banks to be able to extract certain
mm.
or
From
endpoints,
internal,
facilitates this, which itself is called data scraping as a way, which is not even still called open banking, but it's still something close to it. And
mm,
guys, they keep updating the app in a bit to like kick you out. I'm like,
mm,
what? I mean, they have every right to do it. There's nothing we can do. It's their data, is their policy. So the first challenge we faced was powers that be, and
mm,
that, so we had to now. So how were we able to solve that challenge? I had to like, me as a CEO, I had to like roll up my sleeve again. I had to like double down on my networking skills, right?
mm,
And this time around is a very, very tough one, because to get for this kind of conversation, you need to talk to decision makers. So
mm,
imagine you trying to talk to maybe someone like, I don't want to mention his name, like Adeleke, right? Former CEO of First Bank.
mm.
These are people, you check their profile, you see 45 years experience in bank. You see 30 years in this. You you'll be like, what? The person
How do I even get to meet
will get to
and
me.
initiate
Even if I meet,
discussion?
how do I even want to like present myself to tell you,
Mm,
sir, what people are doing is not right? Like, we want to do it this way, and
mm,
it does not add up. So I had to upskill myself. I had to first go and learn and know that, okay, oh, if they ask me any question, I must sound like, basically I
mm,
had to upskill myself to like resonate on their frequency. That's the
mm.
first thing I had to do. And the only way to do it is you should be knowledgeable about that thing that you want to do.
Absolutely.
End to
Mm,
end, front to back, left to right, right. So I had to like
mm,
do that. Then and now started the journey of going to events, messaging them on LinkedIn, back to back to back to back. So it was
mm,
a lot of work, schedule, dinner, lunch, whatever it is, meeting them everywhere, just being in their face, right? So I was able to conquer that, have them in my connection. I mean, I still have some very early connection with most of them right now, which is something I'm happy for it. So that was one major challenge that we faced. Then the other was building the company is now the tech, which is still something I'm still facing even up and I don't know why. Right.
Mm,
But I mean over experience, I've been able to like we've gone far. But back then, um they keep hearing there's talent here, there's talent there, there's talent there. So I think one of the problems that we're facing in Nigeria, especially with the talent pool, is the fact that we are training people on the education parts and not on the skills parts. I don't know how to put it, but like people know this thing. I did an interview recently myself, 2 3 weeks ago, right? I had to do it myself because I wanted to like see what the issue was with tech talent. I spoke to over 200 people in like 1 week or 2 weeks. It was very
mm,
difficult. Everybody I asked, I mean, I had a very good questions. I asked them, come and see people answering questions perfectly, right? But when it comes to the hands-on practical, they are
mm.
not they are not it's just like what your other is different from what
All
you
the goods. Mm,
I mean, I keep on doing research. I spoke to a couple of other people. I now discovered that's actually a major problem. A lot of people
mm,
understand the logos part of things, but they don't really understand the practical application of how to use it. So that was one of the major challenge we faced in the early days of breeding. So we built our first version. We're happy it was live. We had customers using the product, right? But the annoying was at least every 2 days we would have a downtime. We lost a lot of customers, and luckily, I don't know, maybe it was not lucky, it was a lot of hard work, right? Myself doing sales, talking to everybody, being at every event, pitching the company. So sales was coming in, like we're getting clients, onboarding clients. And it was as though every client we were onboarding, we are losing them after 1 week, after 2 weeks, max 1 month of core infrastructure. So at some point we just stopped, right? Then we now rebuilt our infrastructure from zero up again. And just by the way, we are doing that again at the moment. It's funny, but we are doing it at the moment again because now we've actually grown larger than what we can take before. So now we have to like use more technology and do something more vast in terms of course we want to optimize our speed. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. So those were
mm,
challenges we faced then, right? Then also there's the challenges of funding. I had to like bootstrap and yeah, till I had to sell my car.
mm,
Get my runway. So that was another very major challenge till we were able to like come out of it. So I mean, I can go on and on and on. There's just millions of challenges I face, but let me just limit it to that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's lots we can talk in terms of talent and the likes. But anyways, you mentioned funding, so I just want to double down on that. That you had to sell your car at some point to
Yeah.
extend to extend your runway.
Mm.
So, How would you say? Like, what were the challenges you faced trying to? Did you try to secure external funding? And what
Okay.
challenges did you face in doing that?
Uh, how do I even put these challenges for funding now? So um so for me, it's a different case, right? Well, I learned from my lessons also. Because literally I
Mm,
turned down a lot of investment check. When I say I turned down a lot of investment check, I can put it like I turned down a lot of investment check, a lot. So I just collected maybe like one or two. So we tried. So for the question, we tried raising external funds, and we did raise some external funds. So why did I turn down investments offers from investors? Was I already started building the solution, I already bootstrap, already put in a lot
mm,
of money. So, but luckily it was still around that 2021, I think 2022. So that was where the boom was kind of. So everybody wants to put in money, more, everybody was raising this. So for me, I'm trying to build something that lasts. I don't want to collect your money and you'll be putting pressure on me. One, I don't.
mm,
And some other people were bringing some, or let's say most of them, they were bringing some ridiculous valuation back then,
mm,
which I mean, it was lack of experience. Well, that's lack of experience, but it's 50-50 because I'm happy it happened that way. And at times I'm like, oh, I could have just collected the money and have money in the bank, right? But then it's
Mm,
still 50. So I was like, after I have my money from my previous startup, which is profitable, right? I'm investing my money into this company. Then you are telling me you want to bring so X amount of money, and you are devaluing the company to like. I'm like, nah, sorry, I cannot take your valuation. It does not work that way, right? This
mm,
I know what I've put in terms of my sweat. I resigned from my job after going. I won't mention the name of the company, but I resumed there for 4 days after one of the big banks, right? So I know this
mm,
I've put on the line to be able
mm,
to do this. And you are telling me just so I rejected a lot of money. So the downside to it was as at when I felt, oh, we're ready to now take proper funds, then that was where the winter period started. Everybody was like, there's no more.
mm,
Everybody's now like, woo. So it was an interesting journey, right? Then I had to just lock up, went back um into the product again and see how we could cut down all our costs on all our expenses, like majority of our expenses. We had to
mm,
downsize, not something I was happy about, but we had to downsize, right?
mm.
And and started focusing on profitability. So for I think I've been able to answer the question in terms of funding. That has been our
Yeah.
journey end to end for the funding part. So now we're currently raising funding now, and I'm done with a couple of investors right now. So we're raising right now.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Is you see now that when you become $1 billion now, most people will not know how it started. But it's good. It's good. I think we are learning a lot. From it's good to learn a lot from people's experiences. You
Mhm.
know. Cool. So you've talked about funding and now and I think you've mentioned a bit of what I wanted to say, or just to know about your initial team. You know, um, how so? Do you correct initially? Did you start as a remote team, or you had um, a physical space where you guys just come and do your thing? And I know you said talent has been an issue, but was it an issue right from when you started, or it's just recently when you are expanding that? Or
So I think it's always been an issue from day one to like since we started even up to now. So but
mm,
then thankfully we have some very awesome, amazing rock star team as we speak right now. People that I'm happy that they are here. So
mm,
I don't know for talent. So getting talent for us is like we like say 50-50 in the sense
mm,
that get the right person, you will just be happy that you have the right person.
yeah,
So early days, I mean, South Africa came from Ibadan. I can boldly say this anywhere, right? Uh,
mm,
so we had our office in Ibadan. So it was we're not doing the remote version of work. So it was,
mm,
well, you come to the office, but then it was hybrid actually. So you pick your day that you want to come, and we're bidding from Bodija also. So yeah, but now we are fully remote, and that's
mm,
because the team has grown large, and we have people from different parts of the country, not even just different part of the continent as we speak right now, not even just different part of the country. So based on that, we are fully remote at the moment.
okay.
We have our office location in Ibadan.
Yeah. All right then. So what now from you have mentioned some of those things, but probably just to highlight them in as a question so that people can still pick them up.
Okay.
Uh, or let me say, for those who say they are watching this and say, I would like to work with you guys now. I like what I'm hearing. What should they expect? Okay, so two things now. What do you expect from people you work with, like as in to fit into the Africa's culture? And what should the person coming in also expect that they will also, you know? enjoy from Zee Africa?
So let me digress a bit, right? Before when before this Gen Z quote and unquote came to the mental well-being, don't affect my mental health, blah blah blah. Before they came into the limelight, I think
Yeah.
it was a function of what was the term? I think there was a term we do use back then, which was what was it called again? Work under pressure. Uh-huh.
Oh, right. Your ability to work under pressure. A
So when you are
fast-paced
applying for
environment.
work under pressure, so literally that thing is a special. Then I thought it was just a vague word,
Mm,
special skill set that if you're in
mm,
a startup, if you don't, if 95% of your team or your workforce can. So now I think some employers are already bastardized the word work under pressure, so they just don't care about the welfare of their employees
mm,
anymore. So now that phrase has been redefined into fast pace. So
mm.
application now, I'll be putting fast pace.
Fast-paced
So can you work like
under
fast?
pressure.
It's still equal to can you work under pressure. So
Yeah.
what am I looking out for is I don't. And again, one of the challenge we faced was we spent a lot of money back then paying some people that quote and unquote were seemingly experienced. Now they call
Mm.
themselves senior, and
Junior engineers.
you'll be quoting some ridiculous payment and now get the job done. So so for me now, what I've learned so far is I would rather choose an intermediary, mid-level, close to senior, but not junior, right?
Mm,
Level developers or software engineers, right, to build for me. And it's more than just being able to even build. It's more than you just knowing the onions. It's more of your work culture. I
mm,
I keep telling some of my staff, I say, see, the way you guys are behaving, it will be best if you go and take a job in a bank first.
mm,
Understand what a proper work culture looks like, a work ethic
mm,
looks like, then come and
mm.
then add it to your software
Skill.
development. You will see
Yeah.
how far it will go. That's why we
Mm,
have a lot of people, they just feel, oh, they can write code, they are good, and yet
mm,
nothing to show for it. They can't really, because that work culture is out of
mm,
it. So those are like things I look out for in people I want to like employ, right? You must be fast paced. So you don't necessarily have to be 100% good. I didn't even need to be 100% good because I want you to come and say, oh, I was at 1% optimal level of myself. And while working with the Africa, I was able to grow to 60% or 70%. That
mm,
makes me happy, whether we like it or not. Like, okay,
mm,
yes, you're able to like gather skills, you've been able to grow, right? So your attitude to work has to be just top notch, right? So what do we have to offer? I keep calling it stipend because whether I say I'm paying you 1 million or I'm paying you 5,000 or I'm paying you 20 million, it's still relative. You still
mm,
people that they say is small, some people say is standard. So everybody have their brackets. So
mm,
they are stipend, for lack of a better word, right?
mm,
Then we give you real life problem to work. Like the fact that because now Z Africa is a B2B product, so
mm.
I cannot afford to have downtime. Because if we're having downtime, you can be
Other
shocked that
businesses.
the
Yeah.
big bank now they're having you will see that other people are having issues with a big bank and
Mm,
and their customer will be blaming the bank. They won't know it's people like us, and they won't know it's not just us. It's because of you that are not serious with your work. Yeah,
mm,
1 million people.
mm,
So I'm giving them a bigger picture to like work in an environment that solves real life problems. So it's not just you're not just I keep telling them most times you're not just coming to freelance. So don't think of it as oh you're just freelancing in one startup, right? Our solution is live. It's being used by major companies, right? And a lot
mm.
are depending on our infrastructure. So we are giving you opportunity to be responsible and like
Yeah.
so yeah, then we're giving future prospect of where we become $1 billion valuation company, right? All
So
our
are
yeah,
you saying you are giving stock option?
yeah. So we have it in
Okay.
not even funny enough, we've not active we I think we've activated it for just a very few people. So
Okay.
it's we don't just straight out into the open
Sure.
table.
Sure. Mm. Cool, cool, cool. So I should come and work for Z now. Let me give me stock.
Yeah, I don't mind if you'll be paying me while you're working for Z. Uh,
Eh, all right. Now, you said something important about networking,
yeah.
and you had to solve one of the ways you solved that problem of, early stage was to network with the decision makers for
Mm-hmm.
partnerships. Now, aside that, what other strategies have you used to at Z that has made it successful? And what do you even call success in Z?
Okay, so let me first start with other strategies that we've used. Hmm. So I created a playbook for that we use for sales, reaching out to clients. Because like I keep saying again, the talent industry is still fickle in the sense that we'll get a salesperson or be the person, right? And most of them, you see, they just know this thing by art. They can tell you what
Mhm,
marketing SEO is, blah blah blah. But then when it comes to doing B2B, B2B is actually a very, very tough game. And a lot of people don't know that running
mhm,
B2B is different from running B2C. So I was able to create a playbook. I won't be able to share that because it's our trade secrets. Mm.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
but different tips from our strategies, the networking one. So
mhm,
we are present in events. Then before we go for the events, we highlight why people come in, what do we
mhm,
want from them. Then we make it very, very, very direct and well thought. So it's not just that we're just stumbling on you for random reasons. We already know what. So it might look random, but to us it's predefined already. So that
mhm,
so then two, well, my team, myself and my team, we keep fighting. We fight a lot. Like they do not like me on top of the
mhm,
fact that they want to do Instagram, Twitter, this,
mhm,
that. So for me, part of our structure, part of what I put into our playbook is don't let's waste time doing what is not important. I'm a B2B.
mhm,
Who is expected to see my product? Bank
mhm,
manager, microfinance bank, tech leader.
mhm,
Those are people I should be talking to. So I'm expected to be hosting webinar
mhm.
rather than posting Happy Friday
Um,
on Instagram.
mhm,
Because
mhm.
at some point, Instagram froze our accounts. They suspended our accounts. And that one, I give them, I say, I'm not in support of creating any account. I was so happy, like, please, let's dispense our energy in what really matters. And not,
Mhm,
it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but
mhm,
question is what's the cost benefit ratio for it? What are we getting in returns for the effort and energy we're putting into it? So that's one thing I keep hammering on our team is the fact that we're able to like sit down, review what are we doing at the moment. Can we do it better?
mhm,
What we need to like remove and double down on. So those are like different strategy because literally that's even like the number one major strategy, and it's cut across everything we are doing in terms of growing the company. So the fact that you can sit down, reflect on what you've done, and see okay, oh, which one works, which one is not working, which one do you want to like still try again, extend, which one do you want to cut it down completely on and focus more on. So we're able to do that, right? Then also we're able to foster a lot of partnership. That's what
mhm,
we're B2B. So partnership in any way, in any how, any mode. There's no such thing as bad sales, right? So you just want to put yourself out there anyway, right? So we've been able to leverage that. What else is coming to mind? I think that's it. Then I get involved in roundtable discussion. So this like a C-level kind of thing. So
mhm,
if I find event that speaks to what we're doing, maybe fintech event, KYC event, blah blah blah. We find a way to like plug ourselves into it, get speaking slots, share knowledge, right? I mean, things like this also excited to jump into awesome platforms like this to like test stories because now I don't know who is listening. That will be my next client that will go and check with
yes.
them. Yeah. So basically we do everything positive to like drive sales and like drive growth for the company. Yeah.
I hope you will give them tech bite discount too, if they come
That's what
from us.
I mean. I'll gladly, once they're feeling it, they should just send me a mail. I'll do that.
Uh, no problem, man. Yeah, so I think you've covered a lot, and this is almost like a mini master class. And this is kind of what we want to achieve for people who are watching and saying looking to build as well. But I'll ask you one last question at the end, so that
Okay.
you give your opinion on that. I hope I don't forget that. Let me just say it now so that I don't forget, so that in
Yeah.
case I forget. So, um, do I start my startup or do I work for a company? Which would you pick? That's for later. I'm just putting it out so I don't forget.
Okay, no problem.
Do I start my startup? Some people are feeling, do I start a startup? Some startups are not organic, like the way you have described yours. Yeah,
Okay.
you started with a regular business, and then you saw a need in that business you were doing. There was a problem that there was no current solution for, and then that's what C came out of. Yeah, so not everybody actually
Have that road.
goes years has that roadmap. Some people just identify a problem immediately. They just start something, or some people just think or generate, or it comes. Starting comes in different ways.
Okay. We'll get.
But obviously, identify problem is one thing, but I mean, it might not be your own problem, but this one was your own problem, and it really made sense. It was almost like a no-brainer for you. You
Yeah.
understand? Uh-huh. Anyway, so that's the question. Do I start my startup or do I work for a business or a company? So let's keep that.
Okay,
Uh,
we should be Mashi.
okay, maybe let's
I
just
think
take it now. Then we can talk about it now.
not everybody is meant to be a founder. See,
Mhm,
I don't mean to scare you, but
mhm,
if you want to be a founder, I think twice about it
mhm,
because it's um at first I want to be an entrepreneur. That it was fabu, for lack of better word, right? Say you'll be free, no boss will be telling you what to do. That's a
mhm,
lie. To be a successful
mhm,
founder,
mhm,
that's when you have to, like, first of all, you don't need one boss, you don't need a boss to be motivating you to give you tasks to do. You have to motivate yourself, whether you
mhm,
feel like doing it or you don't feel like doing it. That's when even the first hard work comes into place. When you stay awake at night to
mhm,
make sure you want to, like, ship in a product, do set your target and meet it up. You have to hold yourself accountable. That's the first problem. If you're having issues with accountability for yourself, you're not ready to run a startup. Oh. So
mhm,
that's just by the way. So now, do you want to be a founder or do you want to work for a company? So um I'll start with, not everybody is born to be a founder, and not everybody 9 to 5 is not also for everybody.
mhm,
But in a very peculiar ecosystem like Nigeria, my own 2 cents would be get a job first,
mhm,
depending on wherever you are. Because
mhm,
whether you want to run a startup, either you have an existing investment, someone that has given you one big money, or your dad is like Otedola or Dangote, or
mhm,
Baba Saleh that is ready to fund you, or you've been able
mhm,
to save up, because that's
mhm,
just like a global playbook everywhere, everybody everywhere. So you've been able to save up, right? That's when you can use your phone, because you will need run. There's some, that's why it's called runway. Runway, so
mhm,
to fall. You need to see road, you need to eat,
mhm,
right? You need to pay bills. So if you're
mhm,
running a startup, because you cannot just, there are moments where you have to build. So see startup like a baby. There are stage where you have to, like, invest in it, nurture
mhm,
it, right, before it starts responding back to you. So our advice: get a job first, right? Ensure
mhm,
the job is paying well. That's if you've identified your problem and you want to be a founder. Then don't leave your job yet. Let your company be well enough to make enough revenue that can match up with your salary and even more, and
mhm,
probably other extra expenses that you're paying, right?
mhm,
Once you can do that and it can match up with your expense, with your salary, then you can maybe resign from your job and now focus on the company fully. However, when you focus on the company fully, does not now mean because you have revenue that is matching up your salary, you should still be paying yourself a salary. Now you invest that money back into the business
Mm,
so you can go so you can get the ripple effect. So when you're getting the ripple effect, you will see that in no time,
mm,
or whatever it is you're taking of salary, it's as long as you can just take care of your basic needs as a founder. So I'm talking of early stage, you are starting from ground zero. Like this is a very good
mm,
two times founder, three times founder. It's a different scheme for them. So
mm,
whether you want to start a startup or you want to be a or you want to work for a company, the first question you need to ask, and you need to be very honest with yourself, is your bills, whether you like it or not. Forget about the problem self. First,
mm,
how do you want to sort out your
mm,
bill for the first
mm,
6 months or for the first month or whatever it is? Once you can have a clear road of it, then you can maybe go into your startup, right? If not, get a 9 to 5 and be very diligent at it, right?
mm,
Save, plan your finances very well. Then there you can divide your salary and use that to employ people to be doing the job for you. Since you have to be dedicated where you're working and you can't
mm,
like focus on startup. That's part of why you're working to make money, to pay people to like get the job for you. See, look, if you are building a tech solution, you built it up to a very good stage that you can okay now leave your job and move there. Then there is also no shame in you being a founder and closing down your company and going to get.
mm, mm,
I've seen a couple of founders, they feel so when they're trying to now apply for a job, they'll be doing it out of like low key, as if they don't want people to know they're
mm,
fam. It's live. You tried it,
mm,
it didn't work, you move on. If it's
mm,
you get the 9 to 5, who knows
mm,
after you do that for 2 years, you can come back again and you try it. Now you're coming back with new experience.
mm,
Then another thing why if I still believe the road to being a founder should be 9 to 5. I don't know. I just like it. Or you maybe you have a very strong board of advisors. I'm sorry, board of directors with advisors, right?
mm,
Otherwise, still get a 9 to 5 in a very good organized company where you want to learn.
mm,
Because it was also a major stumbling block for me. I was doing well
mm,
with some of my companies at certain stage, but
mm,
I feel like you are hitting the roof, you are hitting the ceiling. You are trying to push, it's not going. You are thinking
mm,
what you're doing wrong. You're not
mm,
doing anything wrong, you are putting in the effort. But the fact that you've not understand some culture, some processes, like
mm,
say for example, one of the issues that I faced was most of the operation of the company was run around me as a person.
mm,
So if I'm sleeping or I'm just somewhere again and there's an
mm,
as though the whole company is about to crash.
mm,
So it's a very big limitation. And I didn't even have worked in a company, maybe a big company, and I've been able to understand team structure, how to like structure, and because that's literally what I went to learn again. I had to now go into the school of learning that. Then
mm,
that now helped us, took us to another level again. So now we're in another level. We need to like expand again, get to another level. So getting 9 to 5 really helps. Trust me.
mm,
You, especially when you're plugged to a company and you are dedicated there, you understand what process is, you understand what flows are, what organizational structure is. You would
mm,
learn how the little moving parts makes up the whole big building, such that
mm.
when you move to your own company, right, you are able to like
That's
implement
what
those
you
things.
also.
And it also applies to funding. That's why a lot of startup also that investors run to give money, they ran it down because you are giving someone millions of dollars that have never handled the 100,000 naira before. How do you
Mm,
expect him to like manage your money?
mm,
They've not gathered the experience, they've not run anything before, right? It's good. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you should not bet on them, right? You should bet on the idea. But the fact that if you have previous experience, you've maybe done some training, maybe MBA, whatever it is, it helps a lot. So yeah, let me just put a pause to it. So it's based on that, you can see which one fits in for you, that whoever is listening, right? And plug yourself to it and go from there.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Totally, totally makes sense. I mean, I totally agree with that as well. You know, running a company or a startup is not for the weak. You
Mm-mm.
know, and I believe you can't even successfully do it if you are hungry. At
Mm-hmm.
least the minimum thing is your bills because life will go on. Somebody has to be funding the your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for for those nuggets. Um, where do you see? Let's come back to Z now and probably conclude with Z. Where do you see Z? Like, what's the roadmap for Z between now and the next 5 years? Are we going to be seeing Z in other African countries? You mentioned the products that you are also building out of Z at the moment. Yeah, so what can we expect to see from you?
Cool.
Please, what you know now, from what you know now.
Okay, so what I know now, I'm currently working on what's it called? What's it called? The open bank. Did I say open banking? I'm already used to open banking by default for the app. So I'm building a cross-border payment rail that would enable anybody and everybody send money across the continent
Okay.
globally. It was happening with the Canada and the Nigerian corridor as we speak right
Mm,
now. And so far, we already have some very good early stage traction, and we're currently building the infrastructure as we speak right now. So, some people who ask how is that related to open banking. It does not necessarily need to relate to open banking. It relates to financial inclusion, which is our core
mm,
goal at Z
mm,
Africa. So our goal is to drive financial inclusion, right? Starting with
mm,
Africa and on a global scale. So would be able to target immigrants in their, or let's say, yeah, immigrants in diaspora, right, to help them with their remittance. Then I'm a B2B guy, I'm an infra guy,
mm,
so I won't just be building a B2C product. After we're done with the B2C, we are literally going to build the B2B, wherein we'll build infrastructures that anybody and everybody that wants to play in this cross-border space, you just need to come and ride on and use us.
mm,
So um, that's like one of the major projects we are working on at the moment, while still keeping the Africa at optimal level and getting more banks, signing in more banks on our open banking platform.
cool, cool, cool. So we should expect now. Let me use this opportunity to ask this question. I know a lot of people, I've seen it on the streets of Twitter, like they say. Um every once in a while we see a fintech, people saying they are doing fintech. And the question is they used to say is, why is everybody doing fintech in Nigeria? What would you have to say to that?
Whether I like it or not, now that are clamping down on people. If you really
Mm,
go and look at it now, the number of people doing fintech is they've gone down, starting from when
mm,
they kicked out everybody on their rail and told
mm,
everybody to come and on board again with a very, very strict measure. NIS
mm,
did the same thing, Sterling did the same thing. Everybody is doing the same thing. So now they are so
mm,
that we could just literally call Providus Bank and say, hey, yeah, plug into that. That was one of the reasons that caused the high adoption, whether we like it or not. The fact that we could just write
easy
on
access.
easy access.
Mm,
Everybody just do one registration, say sign SLE, you don't even need to get
mm,
license, just enter into payments. You're already doing fintech. So, but
mm,
now regulation has actually really, really clamped down, like they've squeezed that space. So the rate at which everybody is doing fintech has drastically reduced right now as we speak. So any other person that we're doing it, they are still surviving, they are being choked, right?
mm,
So why is everybody doing fintech in Nigeria is funny enough, whether we like it or not, for the next 10, 15 years, 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, it will still be the major thing of the day. Because
mm,
um whether like we have 200 plus million people in Nigeria.
mm,
And one
mm,
thing that combines everybody, race,
mm.
color, age, everything, is
Money.
money.
Mm,
So right now that we're saying we've never even tapped into we've not really tapped into it, if I'm being honest with you. Thankfully, we already have money players that already like created a paved way to a new ecosystem on its own. We see the OPay to did their own. There are still different versions of fintech that will pop up. We've not gotten into even the real open banking of itself. We've not gotten
mm,
to what's it called? There's a lot that we've not done, if I'm being honest. We've not even cracked lending in
mm,
Nigeria as we speak right now. We've not cracked
mm,
lending. I say that clearly, right? We've not cracked we've not finished cracking payments. Today we'll say we are creating a platform to bank the unbanked. Tomorrow there will be some regulation or something that will even unbank the people that we've banked already, right? So
Mm,
there's a lot of unbanked people in Nigeria.
mm,
So there will still be more development of fintech. See Paystack now. They did not leave B2B, like they've already released app that's
so
B2C
good to see. Mm,
to refine certain niche that they found. And I mean, it's a very beautiful product. I've onboarded myself on it, right? I'm not advertising for them. I just like the solution. So
mm,
the point is, the entrance at first was the thing that made everybody like move into it, and the fact
mm,
that you can make money easily and fast. Because literally, once you get it right, you plug this person, you take your profit margin, then
and then,
you have to go. So there
mm,
is no serious rocket science in building anything fintech in Nigeria. So that's why that's the reason. But yeah, and it's still going to be like that over, apart from the fact that regulation has already like clamped down on people and make it a little raise the barrier to entry. But other than that, we'll still see a keep rise in fintech in Nigeria.
mm. Then also, can I make a request, maybe to Z5?
Yes, please.
Can you help us to do payment within Africa?
Payments within Africa. Okay, I know a couple of people that are doing it already. I don't want to mention their name, but
Are they? Because I feel maybe after the session we
uh,
can talk about that to know.
yeah,
But I feel that that's also still a major
it's a
issue.
big problem, very big problem. I
To
know.
move money within Africa,
Within
uh,
Africa, just from Nigeria to even your neighboring Ghana, there, it's a lot. So I know it's a big issue. So those are like things that I want to like solve when we get to the B2B parts. So I want to build that
mm,
infrastructure that you can move money within Africa and within global standard, right? So but maybe after the call, I could give you a recommendation of, is why I can't mention their name now is because I've not tested the product. So I don't want to
mm,
put it out there and maybe
it's
yeah.
fine. There's no problem.
So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Finally, for just to wrap it up, I mean, anybody listening so far would have gotten quite a lot. And just to wrap it up, if you were to advise founders that are just starting or planning to be founders with just one singular advice, what will you give them?
Founders that are just starting and they want to be a founder.
Yes,
That,
they know that they have something they want to build. One advice we give,
okay,
or should
fine.
I make it two?
No. Just what the fact that I
One.
will find is the fact that they already know the idea.
Yes, that this is what they want to do. Yes, and they're ready for it.
So, so one simple advice is build your MVP and get your first paying customer, like your first set of paying customer, before you even
Mm,
think of forming a company.
mm, mm,
Just get a name, do your normal small landing page or this thing. The first thing
mm,
first, with the current ecosystem that we are in, build that small thing, that small unit version of your MVP. Get
mm,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 first paying customer that are paying, not just using. Once you can do
mm,
that, now say you're ready to build a company, you can now start doing designing your logo or say whatever part you want to do. But a lot of people just go ahead and first go and do the unnecessary. And you now see that what you think you want to build in your head
mm.
different from what people actually need.
So I really need.
You want to
Yeah.
put into the market first, let people use it and pay for it.
Mm,
There you will know that okay, well, are you doing the right thing? Or do you want to slow down or do you want to press in the accelerator? So that's just the one simple advice on that aspect.
okay. Thank you so much. Finally, where if people want to reach out, Twitter,
LinkedIn. Okay, no,
um,
that's also
LinkedIn.
I'm trying to build my Twitter.
What we'll do is we'll put your links in the
Yes,
description of the video so
and link.
that people can reach out. You can reach out to him. Um, he's a big man, man. He's a busy man. So if you need connection, you can just
I
eh?
wish. I wish.
So if you need connection or when you start your master class, just let me be your handler so that I'll be getting like a percentage from anybody that comes.
No problem. Get
But
that.
yeah, thank you so much for
All right.
for your time. Thank you for giving us so much insight. I mean, it's amazing to see and to hear from how your journey, and I'm sure that before we know it now, you'll be talking billions of dollars and expansion to other areas. Thank you so much.
All
And
right.
for those who are watching, you better like and subscribe, and then you can follow David on Instagram, Twitter, and we'll just put those links there. Even the link to all of the products that Z Africa is currently working on. And if you, I'm sure you will need, if you're a founder, you will need at least KYC. You will
Yes.
need,
Very
if you're a business, you have to verify um, people's CAC documentation, all those things. I'm sure you'll be able to help you handle it. So we'll put, all the details for you, and so that you can leverage, the top, one of the top people in the space. So thank you so much,
You're welcome.
and
All right.
we'll see you in the next video.
Okay. Bye.